What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Snowcast Sports Talk Podcast, episode 74.
Ooh, getting up there.
It's been a month and like 2 days since we did a podcast.
That's crazy. I feel like it's been like 2 weeks. I guess it has been.
It's been a month. I was looking. So first thing, Matthew has moved. So that was the first big life event that happened. So congratulations to Matthew.
Thank you.
In his new apartment.
It is honestly so nice. We have our own porch. All my movie posters are on my walls. It is nice. So I love it.
Nice. Well, that was one of the reasons we had to take a little bit of a hiatus. Also, every single weekend we've been doing something. So going to Maryland to visit family, moving for Matthew, Memorial Day doing a ton of stuff. Plus Matthew got a new job, so we're still trying to figure out what the cadence of the podcast is going to be. So there's just been a lot going on. But because of that, we have some stuff we can talk about. As I preface this, I did condense the topics a little bit just so we can ease back into this instead of doing a 3-hour show.
Right.
So we got a couple topics I think that are kind of relevant that we can discuss. And the first one is very relevant. The Arizona Cardinals decided to save $12 million and cut wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. So I think they owed DeAndre somewhere around $30 million. They cut him to save about 12, and they still have to pay him about 18 to 20. So DeAndre Hopkins is a free agent, and he's going to get paid. So I guess the question I have to you, Matthew, as a Patriots fan and as a Giants fan, we both could benefit.
Need wide receivers.
Could both benefit from getting a DeAndre Hopkins, but I think we're both gonna. I think I would prefer him to go to the Patriots, and I think you would prefer him to go to the Patriots. So why don't you go through and tell us all the reasons you want DeAndre Hopkins?
I think all the reasons why you don't want DeAndre Hopkins, I agree. I think the main reason I would take him is what he could offer. And I think that's obviously, of course, like you take him, you hope he doesn't get hurt. He's an older wide receiver.
31.
But even, how many, he really didn't play a lot of games with the Cardinals.
No, he got suspended for taking a performance-enhancing drug, and then he dealt with
got injured, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So he hasn't done a whole lot these last couple of years. So I don't think he'd be up to the standard that we're usually used to when you hear the name DeAndre Hopkins. But at the same time, I think as a Patriots fan, I think I'll just go into this season feeling better, knowing that we have Juju Smith-Schuster and DeAndre Hopkins as weapons for Mac Jones. Just because you look at last year, and that's just Jacoby Myers, But now going into this year and actually having people who have proven themselves as good wide receivers, although they might not perform the best this year the Patriots, because it's just tough. And, they haven't looked as great. Juju and DeAndre Hopkins haven't looked phenomenal lately, in my opinion.
Well, it's funny. The Giants and the Patriots. Let's say the Patriots take DHOP. The Giants are doing the exact opposite of what the Patriots are doing.
Yeah.
The Patriots drafted some guys. It's not really working out, so they're bringing in some proven commodities. Like Juju has had some great years. He's had some not some great years. Just came off a good year with the Chiefs, but how much can you attribute that to him, to Mahomes and Reed?
Yeah.
And then bringing a guy like D-Hop, like you said. I mean, D-Hop 3 years ago was the clear number one best wide receiver. Like him and Devontae Adams were like my top two.
Yeah.
And the Giants are doing the opposite. The Giants, we draft Jalen Hyatt in the 3rd round, who I think is going to be a really good wide receiver. We drafted a rookie last year with Wan'Dale Robinson. We brought in unknown players that are a little bit younger and maybe a little bit more under the radar, like a Paris Campbell, and we're going to see what happens. But for all the reasons you like D-Hop, I don't like him. I think he's a little bit old.
Yep.
How much does he want to get paid for the
Yeah,
Giants?
that's the big one.
We don't have a lot of cap space. Like the Giants in particular don't have a lot of cap space. So it's like, are you really going to move all this money around for a guy who going to get hurt, might not even, could get caught for another PED, who knows? And, he's listed out some things that he wants, and I don't know if the Giants quite fit what he wants. He wants to play for a really good quarterback, and I love DJ, but it wouldn't shock me if he's like targeting a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, a Justin Herbert.
Which I think he has come out and said on a podcast. Like Chiefs, Bills. There were some other names on there that I don't quite remember off the top of my head, but yeah, he is looking for a good quarterback. I mean, he wants a ring. He's an old, amazing wide receiver who has played for the Texans and the Cardinals. Like, I feel bad.
He's
like,
also yeah.
That's not a great team.
He's also not a drama queen. He's a team player, and I get the appeal. And whoever gets them, they're getting a weapon, and hopefully it works out. But I would just advise the Giants to stay away from it. I don't think the Giants are a DeAndre Hopkins away from winning a Super Bowl. So why are you going to spend money on it?
That's what, that is the fairest point. I agree with that with the Patriots. The Patriots are not a DeAndre Hopkins away from winning a Super Bowl. But at the same time, just going into this season, I will just feel a little bit better that there's another weapon out on the field. But I'll tell you why the number one reason DeAndre Hopkins is not coming to the Patriots. Bill O'Brien.
Oh yeah, true. I didn't even.
He's not coming to the Patriots.
Good for you for thinking of that.
I do not think they had the best relationship. Bill O'Brien kind of dismantled whatever the Texans had going on with DeAndre Hopkins.
Well, who knows? He may have won that trade. He got what did he get, a third-round pick for him? But DeAndre Hopkins obviously didn't perform great. The Cardinals, they're releasing him. So
that is true. Maybe he did, but at the same time,
who won the trade?
D-Hop's perspective, D-Hop probably was not thrilled, or maybe he wanted to leave the Texans at that point. The Texans.
You remember the Cardinals 2 years in a row went like 9-1. And they
with
always
Kyler Murray, yeah,
they were always hot, but then it just never lasted. So, yeah, the other aspect to this. So let's close the D-Hop final point here. Where do you think he's going to end up? I think there's two teams. I think he could end up on the Detroit Lions. I've been hearing that for a couple reasons. One, the Lions, I think, are a really underrated team, and I think they have the cap space to please him money-wise. Or the Chiefs or the Bills. And so it's really going to be up to D-Hop. Does he want to go the money route? And where I think the Lions have still $20 million in cap space, you can go to the Bills or the Chiefs and maybe take less, but you have a much better chance of winning a ring. So those are the three teams that I think he'll end up on, but we'll see.
The one I would throw in there, because I do agree with you, and interestingly enough, if I were the Chiefs, I would be a little bit interested. I'm not even sure who their wide receiver is.
Kadarius Toney, Giants first-round pick.
Kadarius Toney, yeah. If I were the Chiefs, maybe I'd try to go pick up D-Hop because I think he'd be down. But at the same time, the Cowboys is another landing spot I could see for D-Hop. But I know, how would you feel about that? Would you be kind of happy? Because what if he just gets hurt and then it's like a big L for the Cowboys?
Yeah, I mean, he'd be a problem. The Giants are already cornerback could be considered one of their weaker positions, so that could be tough. But the thing about the Cowboys you have to remember is they have a lot of players they have to pay very soon. They have to pay Diggs, their cornerback. They're going to have to pay Micah Parson.
Didn't Zeke sign for another season?
No, Zeke hasn't been signed by anyone. Zeke is still a free agent. They let Zeke
go.
I
thought I remember reading he did a 1 year.
No. So he's gone. But the Cowboys are going to have a lot of big players to pay very soon, so I can't see them. And they already gave some money to Brandon Cooks, and they gave some money to Stephon Gilmore.
Yep, that's also true.
So I've seen them add a lot of pieces. The team I could see doing it is the freaking Eagles. Every time, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I put the Lions, the Bills, and the Chiefs are the three teams. And even with the Bills, they already have Stephon Diggs. I don't know if they really need a D-Hop. It would be great, but the Bills need some offensive line help and they need some defense help. So I don't know if. I'd say Chiefs, Lions. Those are my top two. But the other thing to think about is now the Cardinals on paper are arguably the worst team in the
worst. The worst.
The worst. So, I don't know how I feel about this coach Gannon, who, obviously he coached an amazing Eagles defense team, but okay, nice. You're a defensive coordinator. Like what are you going to do for this team? And what's the offensive system you're going to put in place for Kyler? And Kyler's his own basket. I don't know. Can you think of a team right now that might perform worse? Like even the Texans and the Panthers, added some great pieces. So
I can't think of a team that would play worse. It's literally it'd be Colt McCoy and Hollywood Brown. Is that? I think that's it. I think Hollywood Brown went from the Ravens to the Cardinals.
Yep.
So I think that would be that's all I can think about. They picked up Will Anderson Jr., who's going to be great, but he's not going to be that big a difference maker. Yep. He might keep them competitive in some games, the defense, and especially that defensive coach coming into the Arizona. But it's the worst roster without a doubt.
Yeah,
and a lot of hope. And one of the losing myself a little bit. I think they're looking to tank. because I think there's a lot of good quarterbacks coming up in the next class. So
That's crazy. They would have picked Josh Rosen 10, the year after picked Kyler Murray, and then 5 years later, they're taking another quarterback.
well, do you continue with Kyler? Because maybe I do.
They signed him. They signed him.
They did sign him. Well, I mean, do you continue with Kyler?
You have to. I think Gannon did the right thing. You can't pay a guy 3 years. Kyler Murray's a top 3 paid quarterback.
Yeah, I
Or
always
top 5 now.
That's always insane to me. I always forget that. Yeah, I guess you got to keep with Kyler because I mean he did look good. He's not my favorite, and I don't think he's that great, but he did look good at points.
You got to keep him healthy. That's the first thing. I think Kyler has all the ability in the world. I think he can throw. He has a great arm actually, and being a former baseball player, he has like a great throwing motion. Him being a former baseball player, and then I think he, obviously has the running ability, but it's really the mental game for him and the leadership game. I think that's part of being a quarterback, and like I hate saying that because I think it's a little overhyped, but you find a quarterback like. It's one of the things I get on Mac about to swing it to the Patriots. Like, Mac has to do a better job keeping his emotions even when he's playing. And when, he has to be that leader. He has to demand that respect. You have to lead by example. I think Kyler struggles with that a lot. Kyler will walk up to his coach and go, "What the F are you thinking?" So I do like Kyler. And I think you signed him. I mean, you got to play with him for like 2 years at least, I think. I think that's the way that contract's built, so.
Yeah. No, but just to, like the two things really quickly. Although I agree with you that the leadership is a little overhyped, at the same time, I would say Tom Brady isn't the best quarterback, but he's the best leader. And look what his career looked like. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Quarterback, it's almost more important to be the leader in a sense.
But yeah, the only thing I would say though is you got to remember it's tough for us now because I'm 28 and you're 25.
24.
24.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
All right, weird.
Yeah, I for some reason thought you were closer in age to me. But either way, Kyler's younger than both of us.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember he's a kid, so you want to draft people with some talent and hope you put the right people around him so he can grow into that leader. You know what I'm saying? Like exactly. A lot of Brady's leadership skills, I would argue, come from Belichick and come from, the Patriots coaching lines that he's been under. So, you're drafting these kids young. Like, they're not all going to be the most mature athletes,
right?
But you hope they grow into it.
Yeah, right out of the gate, they're not just going to be great. The other thing I did just have to say about it, because I do have to, I don't love Mac Jones, but I do got to defend him a little bit.
Go for it.
He's getting some hate with his mouth, but at the same time, for one clip of him yelling at Matt Patricia, I could probably show you 3 to 30 hours of Tom Brady yelling at his OC relentlessly.
This is a good point, but the thing is you have to earn that. Like, you have to earn that respect. You have to go win Super Bowls to be able to yell at your coaches, because then it's like, oh wait, Tom Brady obviously knows something because he's won Super Bowls. And you get to a point where, Peyton Manning yelling at his team, you earned it.
It meant something.
Even Aaron Rodgers, who I don't think he does a great job leading, when he's upset with his team, he does have a right to be upset sometimes. And I'm not saying Mac doesn't have a right to be upset. It's just you need to build that camaraderie and earn the team's respect. And I think with the way Belichick views him, the team doesn't respect him. I think sometimes that gets in Mac's way. And then just if you pile on top of that, like Mac's under a lot of pressure. And I don't think he always has the best support system.
No, I mean, I completely agree. And honestly, I might get a little flack for this, but I'd give Mac Jones credit for speaking up when Bill Belichick made a bad move, because that's a hard thing to do, because you're right, he doesn't have that respect.
Yeah.
It's very off for him to do, but Bill Belichick is the one who put Matt Patricia as the offensive coordinator, and that was not the right thing to do.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I give a little bit of credit. Maybe he didn't do it in the right way, but I give Mac credit.
Yep. Next story. It looks like Jimmy G didn't pass his physical. Have you heard about this?
I literally was listening to this on the radio on the ride back, and it was making me laugh so much.
Oh, man. So now the Raiders, they can get completely out of the contract if they want to. They don't have to. But now the Raiders have a lot of flexibility. And so now we're going to see, what are you going to do? And, my first thing is, Jimmy.
What are you doing? Do you not hear everybody tell you are just a game manager and a mediocre player? Do you not want to prove some people wrong? Do you just not care? I don't know what to think about it. And he must just really not care that much, because, I mean, if he's
maybe something's going on. and you just
Yeah,
couldn't.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
And I don't want to speculate, but the Raiders are in an interesting position. So if there's even a rumor that Tom Brady wants to come back and play, he now has a clear team he can go to, and the Raiders can get out from under Jimmy and not worry about it. But I really do think McDaniels, I don't think they're going to do that. I really think McDaniels likes Jimmy. And so
I agree. And I think McDaniels will not work as the Raiders head coach and will soon be gone. But
Yeah, well, there's another team that could be really bad for a lot of reasons. And the first one is their division. When you have to play the Broncos, who, by the way, have Sean Payton as their head coach, like, that's not a joke. And then you have to play the Chargers, who just got Kellen Moore, the Cowboys offensive. Literally the only good part of the Cowboys left, besides Micah
went to
Parsons.
the Chargers.
Besides Micah Parsons. Like, the only good part of the offense left and went to the Chargers. So they all blamed him, but he was the only good part of the Cowboys. And now he's with Justin Herbert. And then you obviously have the best coach and quarterback in football with Reed and Mahomes. And I am not a fan of them. I don't root for them, but they are the best. So
root for them in the Super Bowl.
I did. Anyone who plays the Eagles, I root against. I do.
True. I know. I don't know how to put that out.
If they didn't embarrass us so much in the week before.
Right. But what does Devontae Adams do? You know, Devontae Adams came to the Raiders looking to play with Derek Carr.
There's a guy, and there's a guy who spoke out, and everyone appreciated it. Very different from the Max situation, but it's because Devontae is the best. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL. Like maybe Justin Jefferson is like the second. Those are like my 1 and 2. But Devontae might be the best route runner. I feel. But yeah, I feel for him. You know, he goes to play with his college buddy, and he doesn't even last a whole year with them, and then they get rid of him and they ship him off. And obviously, Devontae doesn't agree with what's going on. But again, the Raiders paid him a lot of money, so he's not as easy to trade.
No.
So we'll see.
Yeah. No. It's true, yeah. I think he's definitely there next year, and I think Jimmy G will start next year. And I don't think he's excited at all to catch Jimmy G balls. But at the same time, hey, you know what? Jimmy G balls out on the Raiders, and Josh McDaniels does great. Like, I'll be happy because I do like both of them. But at the same time, I do not think it's going to go well at all in Vegas.
Yeah, I think Vegas could be the worst AFC team, and Arizona could be the worst NFC team. I think both those teams could be pretty bad.
A little off topic. You know what team that is getting so much hype that I think is going to fall a little bit next year is the Jaguars. There's a reason Philadelphia got rid of Doug Peterson kind of quickly after he won them a Super Bowl. He's a little bit of a clown. He's not great. And I think it's all going to get shown. And I don't think a team like Trevor Lawrence threw 3 interceptions in the first quarter of that first game. Now, I hope Trevor Lawrence gets better and learns from that and watches that film. But at the same time...
I mean, if you watch the progression of Trevor Lawrence, though, his first year wasn't great. Second year...
it's been going up. It's been going up.
And where the Giants, we go into Philly and get embarrassed. The Jaguars... Now, Mahomes was out for a little bit of that game, but the Jaguars put up a real fight in that game. And I thought they played well. And... the thing about the Jaguars is how well is Bryce Young and how well is Richardson. Is that his name?
Yeah. Anthony Richardson. Yeah.
How good are those two guys going to be? Because Texans and Colts are in that division. And then the Titans are a team that I could see struggling this year. They need to bounce back a lot.
Yeah. They have an aging team. You can't only have, like, Derrick Henry's in his 30s now, and that he's that whole team. You know, Ryan Tannehill's getting out the door. Malik Willis.
Although I don't like him anymore.
Yeah, I didn't see anything of him play. I haven't watched any bit of it. But
the team's not a fan, and that's why they drafted the other kid, Levis.
Will Levis, who's eating bananas. But who knows? That trio right there could be the best the quarterback trio.
But when you look at all the teams in the AFC South, I still argue the Jaguars are the best team. I think they have an easy schedule because they get to play each of those other teams twice.
Who am I missing? Colts, Jags,
Texans.
Texans.
Titans.
Yeah. That's right, Titans, yeah. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. You know what's funny? I would love to see the Texans win this year just because, you know, they have the new head coach, D'Amico Ryans, I'm pretty sure his name is, with, you know, CJ Stroud, and then they trade it back up to get I can't think of the player they grabbed, number 3. But, you know, I would love to see the Texans come up and win that division. That would be the most
cool. It'd be cool. I'm rooting,
maybe the Jaguars still win because that division's just rough.
And I'm telling you, Trevor Lawrence, man, I really think he's only going to get better. I really think he's a talented guy, and he's a good leader too. He's a clear number one pick. Like where Kyler Murray just it's not working with T-Law. It's definitely there. Final thing I want to talk about just quickly, and we don't have to go into a whole lot of detail, is let's just rate our team's drafts. You know, we had an NFL draft come and go. I can start if you want, or you can start if you want.
No, you got it. You got it.
I give my team top notch. I couldn't have been happier with my team's draft. So you know, first round, really wanted a wide receiver. There were three I loved. Jim. What was the best one? What was his name? There was Zay Flowers.
Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, Jackson. Yeah, JSN. And then who was the other one? Zay Flowers. And then there was one more. And
I know.
Yeah, he went to the Ravens. Zay Flowers is Ravens. He went to the Seahawks. The Seahawks got him, and he's gonna be next to freaking DK Metcalf.
Well, the Seahawks got Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Oh, okay. And then Vikings. Who did the Vikings took one too?
We should. I'm gonna. Can I just do a quick Google of like?
If you just look up Vikings draft, shows you how prepared we were, huh?
Yeah, right. It's all live.
It's all live. Vikings draft, 2023. Jordan Addison.
That's right. Yeah.
Addison, who I liked. So I liked those guys, but all three of them went right before the Giants picked. And so then the Giants actually traded up a spot to get Deonte Banks, who's from University of Maryland, cornerback. And we desperately need a cornerback. When you have to play A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, and now Brandon Cooks in your division, you need a cornerback to combat that. Great pick. Second round, we take John Michael Schmitz, center. We didn't even have a center. We lost both of our guys. We lost Nick Gates, and we lost Feliciano. Draft the best center in the draft in the second round. And then somehow Jalen Hyatt falls in the third. The Giants almost drafted him with their second round pick, but they traded up to get Hyatt. Speed receiver, desperately need that right now. We have a lot of depth at wide receiver. We just need to iron out now who's going to be there. Is it going to be Hodgins? Is it going to be Shep? Is it going to be Slayton? Is it going to be Hyatt? Is it going to be Paris Campbell? There's a lot of different wide receivers we have. And then some of the later round picks were just some depth pieces. You know, we got Eric Gray, a running back. We have another 2 DBs. And then we had a D tackle from Oregon, who must know Kayvon. So either way, the Giants draft was really good. What they did this year, though, was a little different than last year. Last year, we had a ton of picks, and we drafted each player at that pick. This year, we traded up to get players that we really valued, but had less picks because of it. So, you know, you could tell the Giants used free agency a little bit more and then used the draft to really just get those A-plus players. So I'm excited for this draft. The final thing I want to say is the Giants are in a really tough spot. This year, we're going to find out. You know, last year, no one expected anything from us. We played well, won a playoff game. This year, we're a playoff team. People know that. People see that. You need to beat the Eagles once. You need to beat the Cowboys once. You need to own Washington, beat them twice, and you need to make the playoffs. But either way, happy with the draft.
Yeah, no, and plus getting Darren Waller is a great sign.
Of course, yeah. If he can stay healthy.
I would give the Patriots first round an A++. Not only did we trade back to screw over the Jets,
and I think it was the Titans trade up to take the player the Jets really wanted.
Steelers.
Oh, the Steelers. Yeah. And then you guys get the best cornerback, Gonzalez.
Yeah, which I mean that was just a great move. I really wanted Zay Flowers in the first round. I knew Bill Belichick wasn't going to do that. I want to give Mac Jones a weapon. I mean, you can just see it. Like you see Jalen Hurts. And then Jalen Hurts signs the Eagles signed A.J. Brown.
And then they draft Devontae Smith.
They draft Devontae Smith. Josh Allen was looking really good. They get Stephon Diggs. Now they're Super Bowl contenders. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Like, you need that. And Bill Belichick is not getting that from Mac Jones, which is really frustrating in my opinion. And it's really stops Mac Jones' development, I think, at a certain point. But still taking Christian Gonzalez was epic. Everything else... We were kind of just filling some pieces. We picked up a lot of special teams players.
Yeah, didn't you draft a kicker?
Yeah, we drafted a kicker. Chad.
That's a Bill Belichick move. Drafting a kicker.
Yeah, Bill Belichick move. I might mispronounce this name here, but is the only other player on this we drafted that I'm really excited about to see where he goes. I think his name is Keyshawn Boutte. I think I have that slightly wrong, but he was a wide receiver at LSU, and I watched him. Although I don't remember the stats off the top of my head right now, he seems kind of epic. So he's someone maybe Bill Belichick could develop after a year or two and turn into a great wide receiver.
Or Bill O'Brien can develop,
Or Bill O'Brien, yeah. Two Bills. It's 50-50 whatever one's going to come out of my mouth. This. What I'm mainly excited about in terms of our offense is the development of our second-round pick last year, Tyquan Thornton, a wide receiver. He is really fast. And I think a very talented wide receiver. And I hope Bill O'Brien went right into the Patriots organization, just saw him sitting in the corner and was like, wait a minute. Why didn't this guy do more last season? What the heck? Takes him and tries to develop him into a wide receiver 1, in my opinion, or wide receiver 2, because he's really talented and he did not a whole lot last season. But, was a rookie, so that's kind of expected. But I hope Bill O'Brien develops our wide receiver cores. And that's my main hope. Because our defense, I think it's going to be top 5. We're going to have a top 5 defense. In fantasy this year, I'm jumping right to the Patriots.
I'm excited.
Amazing in terms of their defense, but their offense, I don't think they did a lot in the draft to help the offense, and I still think the offense is going to be a little shaky going into this season. And honestly, maybe it's not that bad, but we're just in the division we're in, it's no way it's not going to look like it's not going to be Josh Allen, it's not going to be Tua, it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers, and we have to do the same thing you have to do. Honestly, we have to make the playoffs. That's what we have to do this season. We have to make the playoffs with the team we have. But we also got to beat the Bills once. We have to. Bill O'Brien and Bill Belichick have got to figure that out.
They got to be the better Bills.
Yeah, they got to be the better Bills. Yeah. I'm going to make a shirt of that.
We're the better Bills.
We're the better Bills.
Yeah, that's absolutely what you need to do.
But I think overall, I give the Patriots draft A-. I think it deserves.
Okay.
Because of the Christian Gonzalez pick, taking out who the Jets wanted. And I think, if we can develop the 2 wide receivers we took towards the end, it's interesting. But I think the special teams and the kicker, it's just so Bill Belichick. It's like, if I didn't expect it, I'd be a little dumb at this point.
Yeah, exactly. That's fair. Well, we'll see. Next episodes we'll go through the schedules because those got released. So we'll attack those. We'll maybe do 2 different episodes. We'll do one where we go through the Patriots and one where we go through the Giants. And
that's actually going to be a ton of fun because those are going to be interesting because we start with
record prediction.
Which I texted all my Philly friends. We're like, hey, if you guys all want to come to Foxborough and watch the Patriots get their ass handed to them, feel free.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not. A couple years ago I went to a Giants-Eagles game. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to the Giants-Washington game.
You guys won that game, I'm pretty sure.
That was the last time the Giants beat them. That was 2021.
Well, hey, I think that means you have to go to another one this year. They're gonna win,
We'll see. If we beat them, we gotta be careful. That'll be our Super Bowl. If we beat them once. So. Yeah, they thoroughly thumped us every time we played them. So.
They really did.
But either way, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for being patient with us. I know it's been a little bit since we've done one of these. Hopefully we'll get into a normal rhythm. But there's just a lot going on. Make sure Matthew's channel's down below, guys. Make sure you subscribe to that. And we'll catch you all in the next one.
Awesome.
Peace.